For what he's paying for taxes?
That's his assessment.
That's his
Oh, it's
assessed
assessment.
value.
Correct, yeah.
So roughly, how much is he going down in
Going
taxes?
about
Oh,
$1,500 to nothing. If it's $15 on 1,000, that's $1,500 there,
Mhm.
down to nothing.
Which the rest of us are picking up. Okay.
He doesn't have anything built on that property.
No, it doesn't.
No,
Yeah, so it's just pure land anyway.
yeah.
One of them's 0.62 acres,
That's right.
the other one's 2.1 acres.
Well, it's interesting, the .62 acre lot has a camp on it, incorrectly placed on that lot from 120 odd years ago. That's why it's .6 acres, so it can be spun off if it ever goes to court. But there's a camp, an old camp on it,
Right.
I believe.
I thought if there was a building on it,
You
it couldn't
can't
be
have
current
grandkids
use.
if there's a building on it.
I believe there's a camp on that .6 lot, half a camp on that lot,
Probably can't.
half a camp. From 150 years ago, it didn't matter, get it close.
Well, and that flag, put the flag up.
Right.
Right.
So on that case,
Well, it's supposed to be on this map then. I'll have to look into it, but it has to be shown on here.
Is it taxed? Okay.
What's that?
Is the camp taxed?
on his
Yeah, but you're gonna
property.
have to exclude tree
I
rate.
didn't see it.
Yeah, there's
Because they would
nothing
have,
on the property.
that would have
card.
flagged it, I mean, right there. No features, no
Yeah, there it is.
features?
See that camp right there? Is that the lot he's talking about?
Which lot?
The
Does it say the
.62
number?
acre, the .62 acre lot has got a camp halfway on it.
And whose property is this next to it?
That's mine.
So it sits half on yours and half
No, no,
on his?
this lot comes down like this. It's a very small lot here.
So this is another lot that he owns?
Yes. No. There's
Who
Then-
owns the
Yeah.
camp? This lot or him?
Because it's not taxed.
that lot.
Okay, but it's not his camp on his property, it's actually on the other property, and it is on his, and it, according to this, hangs over onto his property. It actually straddles the property line.
Yeah, inadvertently, when they built it. Like I said, hundreds of years
They
ago.
put it in the
Yeah.
wrong spot.
Yeah, it was a nice view.
So, but
So
what is
who
that
owns the
person's
camp?
card? Yeah, what is that person's
Right,
card say?
exactly. Who owns the camp? That's what I'd have to look up.
Because they may only be
It
claiming
just
their
says
camp.
NVF Cedric
Oh, that
Ricker.
goes back years. It's Hurley today. John Hurley owns that.
So you'd have to go look at his.
So it most likely is on his.
You'd have to look at his tax card.
Okay.
But that's an interesting issue when,
And
Yeah, so we should be taxing
You can
Mr. Robbins for
actually-
half the camp?
You can actually do so many feet
Maybe
around. You just have to do it that way. So technically, if that acres, if it was
It needs to be.
12 acres, he could take some of this out.
Yeah,
of the-
but you're only
right.
looking at a .62
Yeah, I know.
acre lot,
But you gotta remember to contiguous though.
and it's right, it doesn't matter because these are the boundary lines. Even though he owns that one, you can't violate the setbacks with a building on
Right.
any lot. Unless you go through the ZBA and get a waiver.
Right, and that was done before there were setbacks, I'm sure.
Oh, 100 years ago, yeah, absolutely.
So,
But back then, according to this map, they just put it anywhere and said it was good.
so that's not part of the boundary. I know it's weird,
Or maybe they resurveyed and.
but going down like this,
no, it goes right through it.
the boundary definitely goes through it.
I
It does
believe it
not
does,
go
yeah.
around this building.
If you look at the tax card for that property, I think you'll see that the line goes right through
Go
it.
right through the building. We'll
Yeah,
have to
it's
take a
okay.
look at it.
Have Gary, you might want to bring that up with Gary and have him look at it.
What about the?
Chad should be coming back out tomorrow.
What about the structure
I want
that's
him
on
to
the
go, I
property?
may could send him out.
What?
the half a structure that's on the property.
Well, I said we should be taxing Mr.
Well,
Robbins for
that's
half
the
a,
thing, you know?
half a camp, then he should start claiming his right to use that camp, I guess.
Whatever.
Because see, avatars are eyes when they're out there. They're the
Well,
ones.
Chuck's gonna watch us and yell at me
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
He brought it up.
So he's
No,
gotta
you
go.
brought it up.
He brought it up. He put it on the table.
Not a good way to start his selection.
Well, that's all
It's
right.
an observation.
I have another one.
Oh, another one. Another
We're on a roll.
Another
Okay,
one.
no, okay. This is a continuation for Rocco Ronaldo. Remember that property on Lyford Road?
113.
Yes, 113 versus 188. Okay. I spoke with the new owner and everything. This is what we came up with, if you want to read. I kind of did a summary on everything, because I won't remember everything. I'd go in front of everybody. So if you want to read it.
So what is he agreeing to on the acreage?
Mr. Benson is the new, he said there's no evidence from anywhere, even the people who are doing the markers out, that there's anything less than 188. And he actually wants to put his 188 in current use. If we do that, then we're gonna have an issue. Well, if we change Rocco's down, let's say, like Avatar is suggesting, then that's gonna cause an issue for the new owner,
Who's gonna wanna move it up?
who's gonna wanna move it up to 188.
Well,
So we've got,
here's the thing. Mr. Rocco no longer owns that land,
right,
and if the new current owner is having markers placed out,
Yeah.
and they're telling him it's at least 188
well,
acres,
they haven't said that,
okay.
but, yeah.
But he's not asking
not
for it to be brought down.
Mhm.
So at this point, until that is settled, or Mr. Rocco pays for a survey,
187?
it's what he sold it for.
That's what I put in my recommendation, my own recommendation. I'm saying.
When he actually
because
sold it,
there's
it was
no
sold
ex-
as 187.
Yeah, exactly.
And did you run this by,
I'm- Well,
did you run
originally,
this by Gary at
the,
Avatar?
not the latest information, no.
Okay.
But what I did is I did just send them the current use application, which I haven't gotten back yet, so I don't want you to sign it. But I wanted to let you know what was going on with the whole thing.
How much does that cut us down when he coming in?
I don't know.
An abatement was
Yeah,
received
it's
from
gonna be
Mr.
quite a bit.
Ronaldo stating that the acreage on the lots were not 188 as listed on the assessment, but that's what he sold it for. Per the deeds, it totaled 113 acres more or less. After quick calculations from cartographic, they suggested the acre totaled 167. Avatar originally recommended changing the acreage from 188 to 167. The new owner, Bob Benson, has hired a survey company to walk the property. I spoke with Mr. Benson on Wednesday, 4/18, as he mailed in the current use application for the property with the acreage is 188. He stated that the survey company is simply finding the boundary lines and marking them. He feels that there is no reason to suggest the acreage is different than what is on the assessment card. Based on insufficient evidence that lead us to believe that there is less than 188 acres, I would suggest denying the abatement for the decrease in acres. If we did allow the small change in abatement, this would cause an issue for Mr. Benson, the new owner. I am not asking for the current use to be approved yet, as I am waiting for the recommendations from Avatar. So,
That's from you?
That's all from me, yeah.
yeah.
I have to sit and,
So at this point, so they're just walking the lines and finding the
what he
boundary
told
lines?
me.
They're not actually doing the valuation?
no, he's just putting markers on the boundaries.
So they're not actually walking the boundary and measuring boundary lines?
No.
Because if they were measuring boundary lines, then you could get a total
I
acreage
would
that
think,
way.
yeah. I would think that you could still get a
Well, I mean,
measurement.
given the fact that he's putting it under current use, the amount he's gonna pay in taxes between the two numbers is probably
Minor.
minor, so it's Or we could just say
But
you have
188 acres is always better than 167 acres.
That's right.
I'm,
I mean, you don't have to do anything with it, I just wanna make you up to date on what's going on. And he is super nice, he wants to, if there's anything we need, we call him anytime, he said. He's just very helpful.
Okay.
And he buys properties everywhere and puts them in current use, and that's what he likes to do.
Yeah.
is he putting them,
Yeah.
somebody's gotta do it.
Yeah.
Is he putting it in current use, or is he put it in recreational current use?
Recreational current use.
So then it's
I believe.
open for the public to
I
utilize.
believe so, it should be right on there. That's the application.
That's Rocco
Second page.
Ronaldo's.
Oh, I'm sorry, last, all the way at the end. See Benson, I put a little sticky? Yeah, and that starts Benson's. You have to keep it organized. Yeah, that's his.
It's not in current use today?
No, it never was. It never was, so we've,
Two big ones. Going the wrong way.
Is he, has Mr. Benson, is that?
yeah, Bob
Has
Benson.
he received the deed yet?
Yes, oh yes, I have the deed.
And the deed has 188 acres?
No, it does not. It's, the deeds before all said more or less. 100 here, more or less. 13 acres, more or less.
Do they add up to 100?
They never added up, no. And that's what Mr. Ronaldo was saying.
Well, on here, he has 120 acres of white pine, 30 acres of hardwood, and 38 acres of wetland. That's 188 acres
Okay.
for a current use
That's what he
application.
has.
Yep.
That's what you wrote.
They're just copying the deed from decades ago,
Yeah.
so
Well,
they
I just wondered if he has a bill of sale. It says. this is
188 acres.
180 acres. If this guy is saying it's less now, isn't he guilty of fraud?
I don't know.
If he's knowingly selling him 13 acres?
He didn't know. He didn't know. He didn't know until they did all this, when he was selling it. He inherited the property when his dad passed.
Didn't know, it's not a good
He said,
excuse.
yeah, he says he didn't know, and then all of a sudden the lawyers are saying, hey, we have a discrepancy in the acres. And that's what happened.
Don't look like the lawyers.
This just says application for current use.
On the second, were you looking for the recreational still?
Yeah, I was looking to see if it said recreational on here.
Did he check mark it? It's right where the white pine would be, and all the way to the right, it'll say recreational. Whoops. Recreational.
Oh, it does,
Yep.
yep. It says recreational adjustment, yes, yes, yes.
Yep.
So then what he's doing is preserving it for everybody to be able to go out and walk and recreate.
Horses.
Yeah.
I think
There's
it's great.
hunting,
Yep.
fishing, horseback riding, walking. My
Tick
son,
collecting.
my son will be very happy that he can continue to ride his bicycle down to the stream to go play in the mud.
There you go. There's water.
Yes, where there's water, a young boy will play. Okay, so at this point, I mean, we're eventually gonna have to either grant or deny this
Correct.
abatement because these have a time restriction on them.
Yep. It all has to be approved, I think July 1st is the date.
So at this point, I am not willing to approve or deny, based on the fact that it was sold at 188 acres. The new owner is putting in a current use application for 188 acres. And before we do that, I think that we should run that by, oh God, I can hear the dollar bills going, the town attorney to make sure that we don't do something that's gonna get us in hot water. I am not a land use attorney or a land use.
Do you want me to write something up for her?
Well, there's no-
So she can look at it, or?
Yes.
But there's no engineering documentation that says it's other than
No.
188 to justify it.
And that's what I wanna run by her, is because he actually sold it as 188 acres.
We don't have a seal on anything saying it's less than that, right?
And we have nothing that proves one way or the other that it is.
That's right.
And Mr. Benson does not know if he's gonna spend the money to finish the whole survey. because it's a lot more for them to actually go from .1 to 2.
Yeah, to measure it out.
Yeah, to actually
they-
measure it out. He's like, I don't know how far.
Yeah, it's like $45,000, $50,000, $60,000 to do that.
Exactly, so,
But yet they'll walk the same thing
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
for a couple of grand and
Without a
put,
GPS.
and to mark to mark the posts. So, it's all about the big dollar bill. Everybody's gotta make a living, some people just wanna make a better one. So, let's put something together on that one,
Okay.
and we'll submit it over to the town attorney.
Okay.
When you have everything put together in a format,
Mhm.
send it over to me to a review, and then what I'll do is if it's good, then I'll just forward it right to the attorney
Okay,
and ask her the appropriate questions.
okay.
Okay with that?
Fine, yeah.
Okay with that, Mark? Anything else?
Yeah, I have one more.
Cool, keep it coming. Let's get some business done,
This is
right?
a new one, okay, I've never dealt with this discretionary preservation easement application, okay? Yeah, this is new. We received this from 2 Moose Mountain Road, Matthew St. Pierre, where it's allowed for people who have barns. It provides a scenic enjoyment to the public, and they get kind of a discount, yeah.
Discount on the barn?
Yeah.
On the view.
On the assessment.
View.
Okay.
There is no view tax in New Hampshire. I
So
read that in the paper
He's gonna read what
somewhere.
Avatar tells us about it. Let him read it, because I don't
All right.
know a whole lot.
This is a letter from Avatar. Dear Jessica and board members, I have thoroughly reviewed the St. Pierre discretionary preservation easement application. I note the following. 1, application needs to be dated prior to recording. 2, the tax year 2012 needs to be filled in. The easement area is listed as 2,760 square feet, and this accounts for only the footprint of the building. The easement area generally includes a small portion of the land around the structure for maintenance purposes. I normally estimate an additional 10 feet around the structure for this purpose. I have estimated the easement area to be 7,080 square feet, or 1.163 acres. And I am closing a card detailing how the land portion should be entered if approved. The application should be updated to reflect this. The barn meets the statutory requirements as there is a scenic enjoyment by the public from Moose Mountain Road. A duly noticed public hearing will need to be held on the matter, and if approved, a discretionary preservation easement agreement will need to be drafted following the provisions of the statute. $sign, $sign.
Brad should be here.
Attorney here. The barn and attached sheds are currently assessed at $22,816. The statute provides that the barn under this agreement can be assessed anywhere in the range of 25 to 75% of its full assessed value. I am providing the following breakdown to help you decide how you would assess the structure if the easements were granted. The minimum term of the agreement is for 10 years. 25% discount total assessed value of the structure would be $26,045. A 50% discount total assessed value of the structure would be $17,364. A 75% discount total assessed value of the structure would be $8,682. Please let me know once a decision has been reached, as we can help you enter the barn properly on record.
That's it, the other
Excuse
one,
me.
that under there is for the other 2.
That would be for the
Yeah,
Roberts.
they-
We
Okay.
can, are we required to? I mean, is there something that you have to give this, or is it, I mean, let's face it, there's probably, I don't know, 10 barns in town, and you know,
Yeah.
everybody's gonna jump on this.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy not to.
You got a barn?
Yes,
A big barn?
yes,
An old barn?
yes.
Oh, cool.
I mean, they would be crazy, so it opens a Pandora's box, and yes, it's nice to see, but, they wanna take it down, they can take it down.
Actually, Pandora, that was open, excuse me for a second, I'm waiting to go grab an Old Town report.
There was a vote on something too, wasn't there once on,
Yes.
It's 22,000, it's assessed to 22,000. Again, 22 times 15 is the total tax bill. $400. Who pays for a public hearing?
Is that something the planning board would have
I
to do?
would think.
I don't know, a duly noticed public hearing, someone has to pay for that and do that.
Historical, maybe it's historical.
Yes, yes.
We do receptions, yeah.
All right.
Receptions, yeah.
In annual meeting of 2008, warrant article number 21. To see if, let me make sure there's not one before that too. Yeah. To see if the town will vote to adopt the provision of RSA 79-F relating to the taxation of qualifying farm structures and lands under farm structures described as RSA 79-F 1-12, majority vote required. And the outcomes of that was results passed as read. So back in 2008, they opened that, and nobody's taken us up on it until this time. Now, in the statute,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
you want to see what the
No, I
statute
think we
is?
need to know what the statute says.
Okay.
Because-
79F, is that what it?
Yeah, you want to grab that for me?
Yeah, who decides what percentage?
The town does. All right, one.
And who decides what is a,
79F 1-1 through 12. Because I believe that there are restrictions that come
Here's
with that.
79 right now.
Oh,
You probably have to just
79.
turn, yeah. You didn't get to the F.
So 79. I have not seen the 79F. That's forest conservation and taxation.
is this all when the Cataderos barn was in operation? This,
open up for
It's 21, no, go back over here. RSA 79F.
F.
we should write one, our own for houses. Should be able to be valued
I
less.
think that's 79.
We can do barns, we should come up with something else.
If your grass stays below that height.
You know what? That's why. We have the update.
Is it farms or farm structure? House could be a farm.
Could be a homestead. Big tax break over there.
Why do you think I put the sign up?
79F, taxation of farm structures and land under farm structures. It's in the updated version here. Apparatus, that's not right.
Yes.
It's a big word.
So just say big word.
Beep.
You were a school teacher.
This is good.
For
Tenants,
or something.
yeah, APPURTENANCES.
Appurtenances?
That's it.
Tongue twister or
We'll go with that
something.
one.
Big word.
Means the land necessary to support or service the qualifying structure. Assessing officials mean the assessing authority of any town, city, or place. Board of Tax and Land Appeals means Board of Tax and Land Appeals established pursuant to RSA 71-B:1. Commissioner, land use, this is all of the definitions. Land under the curtilage of the qualifying farm structure means only the land immediately under the footprint of the qualifying farm structure and its That big word again? Open space, farmland, forest land, unproductive land owner, persons. Appraising the qualifying here we go. Appraisal of the qualifying farm structures and land under them. The selectmen or the assessing officials in any municipality adopting the provision of this chapter shall appraise qualifying farm structures for no more than their replacement cost less depreciation, and the land under the qualifying farm structures at no more than 10% of its market value. The land under the qualifying farm structure shall be contiguous to a minimum of 10 acres of open space land. No owner of a qualifying structure shall be entitled to have the qualifying structure or the land under it classified for any tax year under the provisions of this chapter unless he or she applies to the assessing officials on or before April 15th of said year on a form approved and provided by the commissioner to have his or her parcel unclassified.
When did the form come in, Jessica?
It was before.
Did you say a minimum of 10 acres?
No. Yes, the land under the qualifying farm structure shall be contiguous to a minimum of 10 acres of open spaced land. And I believe that barn sits contiguous to almost 70 acres?
This is the one right on the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 Moose Mountain Road. It's the old
Must
King's
be
Place.
10 acres, man.
Oh, that property comes like with 78 or 85 acres.
Brad's all set.
But that doesn't mention what this gentleman's mentioning in regards to the St. Pierre discretionary. This is a whole different thing. And I know nothing about that. So we would need to find that information and find out if there's restrictions and so forth. Okay. This is strictly just qualifying farm structures. Qualifying farm structures means structures contiguous to a minimum of 10 acres of open space land that are used by the owner of the land to exclusively house livestock, store feed grown or used on the farm, store livestock bedding, store crops or fertilizer for crops grown on the farm, store farm equipment which is actively used to maintain the farm, or boil sap from a maple trees and store fuel wood used to boil sap from maple trees. So it has to meet that requirement in order to get the one that was passed by the town. I don't know anything about the St. Pierre, so we're gonna have to look into that.
That sounds like it has to be a working farm.
That is a working farm
10 acres or more.
with 10 acres or more.
So we don't know if this is a working farm.
This is different. This is St. Pierre discretionary preservation of easement application,
Not that.
not this.
RSA 79D
Is that what it says for the St. Pierre?
for the discretionary preservation easement.
Guess I didn't go far enough.
No, you went too far.
To grant
Can't
property
go down
Thank
to
you.
C.
There's always
says,
one in the farm.
It says this law authorizes towns and municipalities to grant property tax relief to barn owners who can demonstrate the public benefit of preserving their barns or other old farm buildings and agree to maintain the structure in keeping with its historical integrity and character during the term of the 10-year preservation easement. To obtain more information, please visit the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance and download a copy of Barn Tax Incentive Packet.
You know, I would have loved to read
So
that,
at my,
but it's missing from the book. It goes from B to E.
Well, it's probably because it's in the big
in the
part.
regular part.
No,
Yeah,
'cause
it's not at
in-
all?
In the regular part, it's 79.1, 79.2,
Oh, there's
79.3, 79.4, 79A:1.
So it's probably under that New Hampshire. There was a
It
big
says.
deal a
But the
many
town
years
accepted
ago.
this one.
Pineapple
Oh,
had
here
the
we go.
barn, had a
Is
a
it F?
wire
'Cause
put
the
in
town
to
accepted
preserve
this
the
one.
barn.
Right, that's the other
The
one.
New Hampshire Preservation Alliance does a
We didn't
huge
accept the-
program on preserving barns.
Oh, does